It doesn't take a genius to work out that feet looking like this is a very bad sign, and in this episode, we're going to peel them apart in an effort to fix them. So in this video, we're looking at a cow who has two very sore feet. This front left foot and the back left foot both have incredibly bad problems, causing her a huge amount of discomfort. We're trimming this front left one simply because it's the first one we came to. I know she has a problem on that inside claw, but at this stage of the trim, I'm not exactly sure how huge that problem is or is not. But as you can see from these scenes, we're rapidly discovering that she has a hole going right the way through her sole, most likely leading all the way to the corium. Holes like these take time to form. They start off as sole hemorrhaging or bruising to you and I, and then once the corium bursts through the sole of the cow's hoof, these holes begin to develop. They're incredibly sore, and every piece of dirt, manure and muck around the farm gets wedged right up in there, putting pressure on the ulcer that lies beneath. It's my job to take all of that pressure away and to start the healing process, and that usually, and in this case definitely does, begin with the application of a block. This green glue was developed by myself and the guys at Hoof a few months ago and has really helped me to retain blocks on cows' feet, meaning that they are leading much more comfortable lives. But it's my trusty knife that is going to do the real work here. This hole has burrowed all the way through her sole, and I need to get rid of every shred of the loose and detached hoof horn that I possibly can without cutting into the corium.
Yes, please.
This is actually turning into a nice cute little sole ulcer. Well, as cute as sole ulcers could possibly be. We've removed a huge amount of material from around the area, meaning that even if the block wasn't there, she would be getting relief from the area because it wouldn't even be touching the ground. The block will simply heighten that relief by making sure the entire foot isn't in contact with the ground. I pump the area full of iodine because I want to basically cauterize or completely dehydrate that sole ulcer. But she begins to kick out. It's uncomfortable for her, which isn't a surprise when you have a problem like this. And with that more simple problem dealt with, it's time to deal with the much more serious problem on this back left foot. I want to understand what's happening underneath the sole of the hoof we can see. So I use my knife to remove large chunks of hoof horn, and immediately see bubbles emerging from a hole right in the centre of her sole. These bubbles, this hole and the obvious cavity beneath what we can see right now, help me to understand what is happening out of reach of her eyesight right now. This cow clearly has an infection, and it most likely covers the entire sole of her foot, which is why she has been so sore on this outside claw, and why this is going to be a hoof trim in which we remove a huge amount of hoof horn. With every movement of the grinder and every slice of the knife, I am reanalyzing this hoof, constantly changing my opinions, forming what I believe that this hoof is going to look like once I've finished the trim. Right now I'm looking at this heel thinking, wow, it's completely detached, but it's green, meaning the farmer has been treating her as often as he can. I wonder how far into the core of her hoof that treatment has actually reached, and wish all farmers would do the same. I can see the cavity and I'm wondering if that meets up with this slice of the knife. It does, but I know it's going to reach much further down towards the toe. I can see the hoof horn underneath is extremely soft and delicate, and I'm hoping that there isn't another cavity to be found further down the sole of this foot. I can see the redness of the solar horn, so I know that this has come about by too much pressure being on this outside claw, and I'm wondering how sore this must be for the cow. Look at the edge of the hoof horn that I'm trimming right now. I'm trying to fade it out, Once I can see no crack, no join in the hoof horn at all, that means I've removed every piece of detached hoof horn and the rest is sound. We can't quite see the corium, but we can almost see it. I've grazed it slightly in an effort to remove everything that I can. Right, I'm going to put a block on this inside claw so that it's got plenty of time to completely dry and harden, and this cow has no risk of losing it whatsoever. But I know there's much more work to be done on that lateral claw, so I want to get the block in place as quickly as I can. As I'm gluing the block into position, I'm still thinking about her hoof, about that soft tissue. Will I have to cut it away with my knife, or will I simply be able to peel it away with my fingers? It turns out the answer is a bit of both. There is still plenty of detached hoof horn to be removed, and as I pull my knife through it, you can see part of it flexing away from what is attached beneath. This incredibly soft hoof horn simply peels away from the base of her foot. It is not well formed. The infection and inflammation around the problem is leading to poor hoof horn formation. I need to remove the detached hoof horn from the axial wall, the part up in between the two digits. This part is really problematic to remove. It's so delicate in there, but the hoof horn is so hard. But I do manage to get the vast majority of it out the way, and Kev springs into action, wrapping her foot so that we can achieve the very best possible results for this cow.